Matrix Labs. What can I say? The most cursed, yet most aesthetic keyboards I have ever built. The Noah has only been released in China as far as I know. I read that the only option to buy the board was on Taobao, which is an online shopping platform that specifically serves China. I'm not sure how true it is, but if this is the case, then there are actually several hoops you have to jump through to receive products from Taobao, such as potentially using a VPN and requiring a Chinese proxy. I'm actually not super clear on the process of obtaining a Noah since my clients handled that process, but I'm assuming it was done with some sort of connection in the Chinese keyboard market. The first Noah I built shipped out in May of this year, and I'm guessing that the drop for this board was sometime in the end of 2019, which gives it about a 6-month turnaround time and is pretty quick as group buys go. This is a top mount board. It's available in aluminum and maybe a polycarbonate option. It's listed in their interest check, but I have yet to see one myself. The PCB has per key RGB and is QMK compatible, thank God. And the board also features a separate daughter board for just the RGB indicators at the top of the case. The connector is another daughter board with a USB-C port, and the case features a nice fitted hole around the connection port. I actually really appreciate small details like this. This build is pretty complex, but there is a handy-dandy build guide, which is actually quite straightforward and easy to follow. As usual, I did do a live build stream, but if you want to catch me live on Twitch TV/Minterly, I stream on Mondays and Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. Since I've already built a Noah, it was definitely less stressful to build than the last one. One part of the build process that struck me as a bit odd is why the PCB has extra bits you need to snap off. It does make a loud, satisfying crunching noise, but it's also pretty anxiety-inducing. Another thing that I noticed is that the back piece of the case does not fit super snugly against the top. You can actually see the PCB through the slit if you look very carefully or have a light shining like I do here. I'm gonna be honest, the keyboard honestly sounds pretty shitty to me. The first Noah I built was extremely hollow sounding. And this one that you see here had a mind-breakingly bizarre issue with the spacebar, which caused extreme ping when pressed a certain way. It drove me a bit nuts because I was not really sure what was causing the ping. When I removed the bottom case and pressed the spacebar of just the top piece and the PCB assembled together, it sounded fine. When I attached the bottom case and physically pressed the keyboard into my desk mat, it also sounded fine. But when the bottom was just attached with screws and the keyboard was sitting normally on my desk, the spacebar sounded absolutely shitty, as if a loose piece of aluminum was rattling around the case. I finally managed to solve the issue with 2 layers of sorbothane stacked in the crevice in the bottom case. 2 layers. One was actually not enough. Plus side of this mod is that it does reduce the hollow sound of the board and actually adds a bit of heft to the board, which I personally prefer. Sorbothane is a bit hefty. So 2 birds killed with 1 stone, but not without knocking my head into the wall for several hours and experiencing utmost bamboozlement. Just want to add that sorbothane might not be the only solution, but it was the only foaming, filling substance I had on hand. Despite the complaints, there are some things that I really do appreciate about this board. First of all, it's absolutely fucking gorgeous. I mentioned that the aesthetic is really over the top extra, and there are quite a few features that contribute to this. The top case is comprised of 4 or 5 pieces, just to create the really intricate front design, which you honestly can't even see when you yourself are using the board. There's an extra accent piece on the back of the case to draw attention to the Matrix logo. Not only that, but the Matrix logo itself is accented with a singular tiny extra orange bit to add even more flair. This is a very minimal detail, but requires extra CNC and anodization work to carve out a screw hole in the bottom case and the little logo bit, and extra quality controlling to make sure they all fit together. The Noah is a work of art, and so extra. But I really do appreciate it because it makes the keyboard much more interesting and complex than a regular old rectangular box. This is a super fancy rectangular box. The RGB strip on the top of the case is a nice touch, and I personally really do enjoy RGB. Matrix was very considerate to source black spacers to provide a more minimal look, so that if you want the RGB off, it still looks nice. However, I don't think that the quality of the black spacers is the best because some spacers have some uneven vignetting and dark sections across of them, which makes the RGB look a bit dull and dirty. I personally also really enjoy the per key RGB because I think it's better to have RGB than not. You can always turn it off if you don't like it, and having the option there is really nice. It comes with a few preset options, and I really enjoy toggling the lights. I love the preset that flares outward as you type, which I use in all of my sound tests. Speaking of which, let me provide a short sound test here. And in this clip, I am using the 2 layers of Sorbothane. All in all, the Noah is an absolutely gorgeous board, but can definitely use some more consideration in the sound department. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, or you can come ask me questions live during my streams. Or to be completely honest, I will probably get to them much faster if you join my Discord community, and all of those links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and I will catch you next time.